My name is Jennifer Dion, and I am a student program specialist with counseling and special services here at Delta College. I am going to go over the initial parts of the application with you today, and then we're going to give you some time to functionally get into the application and ask any questions that you guys might have. So we're going to get into it right now. I'm going to share my screen. Hang tight. Okay. Hang on just 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, here we go. So the Delta College application, we're going to help you get started on what you need to do as a new Delta student. Again, my name is Jennifer Dion. This is my email right here. If you guys have any additional questions, contact me anytime and I am available. So some quick logistics and ground rules about the presentations. Lee kind of went over everything already, but if we could all stay muted for the time being through presentation, that would be great. Questions can be submitted in chat, or you can actually raise your hand and we will unmute you, and then you can ask your question live if you prefer. You can send questions privately if that's more comfortable for you, so you can private message on your chat function. We're going to answer all questions at the end of the presentation. And also we have a contact form that we'll put up in chat throughout the presentation. The contact form basically is to gauge where you're at right now in your process of admission and application, and for you to identify where you might need help or assistance. So we can reach out to you and assist you with whatever you might need help with. Okay, so learning outcomes today, we're going to review the 6 steps to actually applying to becoming a Delta student. I'm going to touch on some upcoming workshops, dates and times. I'm not going to get into the dates and times. I just want to show you online where you can access that information. Or actually, Lee probably can provide a link in chat for that. We have a lot of great workshops to help students right now throughout their application or onboarding process, whether that be to online orientations or help making appointments with counselors, things of that nature, how to use their student portal. A lot of exciting things happening and help for students. So we just want to show you where that information lives online. And then today, hopefully you're going to start your online Delta application. And I mean, actually, hopefully you can complete that today. So at least your one step is done. So the 6 steps to becoming a Delta student or applying to Delta is your first step is you're going to be apply it online. So I'm going to get you going and applying online and kind of help you with that process. The second step is actually getting access to your My Delta student portal and your Delta email, which will come to you through an email from Delta after you finish your application process. Your third step will be applying for financial aid. Your fourth step is placement, and that's really an informational step. Information about understanding your placement lives online, and a counselor will go over that with you as they're helping you create an educational plan. Your fifth step is attend orientation and counseling, so making a counseling appointment. And then your sixth and final step is registering for classes, and welcome to Delta, you're done. You're ready to start your semester. So to apply online, to apply to Delta, this is the webpage you can use to apply. Lee's gonna add this webpage in the chat. And when you get to this page, it's gonna, you're gonna click to the steps to apply. You're gonna apply to Delta College. There's actually 2 parts to applying to Delta College I just wanna highlight. When you apply through Open California Community Colleges, you have to create an online profile. So you actually are gonna go in and create an account or a profile with them, and then you start your application process. So we're gonna kind of go through that. So there's 2 steps to the first step, if that makes sense. You have to do 2 portions. So when you click apply and you click to apply to Delta College, it takes you to a screen where you can either create a new account, which is kind of what we're going to walk through today, or if you have previously applied to a community college or attended Delta, you would have a open CCC account, and you can go ahead and sign into that account. Or you can troubleshoot trying to get in that account, you can like forgot my password, they have forgot my password links, or you can use security, they have security settings for security questions you can use to get into your accounts. But if you've never signed in to OpenCCC and created an account, then you're actually going to create a new account, and I'll show you what that looks like. So to create your OpenCCC account, it's just going to bring you to this page and tell you that you have to have an email address. This is an online application, and if you don't, you can use any of these sources to get a free email address. And then it's just telling you some information you'll need. And then you go ahead and click begin creating my account. So it's fairly simple to do this. It's just a few questions. You're going to do your name. First, last is asking if you have any previous names or ever used a different name so they can leak any kind of old school records. Your date of birth information. Your social security information. I'm going to highlight right here, if you do not have a social security number or a TIN number, that's fine. If you do, you can enter those here. If you do not, just check these boxes right here. If you're undocumented or an international student, if you fall into any of those categories, you can click here and that will not prevent you from creating an application. It doesn't stop you at all. You just click these boxes and then you can continue on. So right here is where you're going to create your account. It's asking for your email information and your phone number. And then it will take you to actually create a login. So a username, a password, and a PIN. You're going to create a PIN for security purposes. It's just a 4-digit personal PIN like you would use for an ATM. Just 4 numbers you can use, or yes, I think it's a number PIN that you'll create. Then it's going to ask you a few security questions. And the reason for this is if you get locked out of your CCC, OpenCCC account, you can use these security questions to get back into it. So just like anything else, just a few security questions you're going to answer. And then click Create My Account. So from there, now you have a profile with OpenCCC. You'll go back in, and now instead of creating an account, you're going to sign in with the username and the password that you just created. This is where you'll actually start your application process. So you're going to select a school. Right here, there's a drop down. San Joaquin Delta College is the school you want to select. Once you do that, you can actually start application. So I'm going to pause right here because from here, it's just a lot of personal questions, and we're going to give students time to get in there and see if they have any questions and ask questions directly. But first, we're going to allow Jonathan to do the same, kind of walk through the same information with financial aid applications.
All right, thank you, Jen. Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name is Jonathan Miranda. I'm a senior financial aid outreach specialist here at Delta College, and I'm going to be going over the financial aid portion of today's presentation. So just bear with me a second here. Just pulling up the presentation right now. All right. So applying to financial aid, to kind of give you some context of why we're applying to financial aid, I just wanted to share with you a little bit about the programs available at Delta College for financial aid. So as we can see here, we have both federal and state aid. The biggest grant for federal aid is called the Pell Grant. You can get up to $6,195. We also have other free programs called FSCOG, is just another grant. Federal Work Study is a grant that allows you to work on campus, and you get paid up to your Federal Work Study award. It's a really great opportunity for you to get job experience while you're going to school. As you can see, direct loans highlighted in red, because out of all the financial aid that is available to you, Loans are the only type of financial aid that you always have to pay back. You're borrowing money. The purpose of today, the purpose of completing your applications is to get your hands on as much free money as possible. And then as far as state aid, at a community college, you have Cal Grant B or C available to you. And those are the respective amounts, $1,672 for a Cal Grant B and $1,094 for a Cal Grant C. We also have the Student Success Completion Grant, and that just allows you additional free money up to $4,000 if you're taking at least 15 units per semester. It's a really great program. We also have the California College Promise Grant. The California College Promise Grant waives all your tuition fees. A lot of our students qualify for the California College Promise Grant. And it doesn't matter how many units you're taking, as long as you're doing great in your classes, you're always going to get that California College Promise Grant, and it's always going to be waiving your fees for you. So you're not paying for your classes. Chafee Grant, that's going to be for foster youth or former foster youth, and that can be an additional $5,000 a year. We also have something called the AB-19 grant. So there's a little bit of confusion between the California College Promise Grant and the AB-19 grant. They both serve the same purpose. The California College Promise Grant has certain income thresholds, so not everybody qualifies for the California College Promise Grant. And if you don't, Delta College has the AB-19 grant available to you. And that's basically for students whose household income is just too high to qualify for that California College Promise Grant. There are more limitations with the AB-19 grant. You do have to be a first-time student. You do have to be a full-time student, which is 12 units or more per semester for the fall and spring. If you're taking summer school, you don't have to be a full-time student. You don't lose your eligibility if you're not a full-time student. It's just that you'll have to pay out of pocket for the summer semester, because the AB-19 grant can only cover you for semesters where you're a full-time student. So how do you get your hands on all this free money? You have to complete the applications. If you're a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, so if you're a permanent resident, you have a green card, right? Or alien registration number, you're going to be completing the FAFSA today. Okay, so U.S. citizens, permanent residents, you're going to be completing the FAFSA. If you're undocumented, so you're not a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, you're considered an AB 540 student, you're going to be completing the California DREAM Act application. So just to kind of give you a little peek at what the websites look like, again, U.S. citizens, permanent residents, you're going to be going to this application today. And this is the link down here, fafsa.gov. And then for those of you completing the DREAM Act application, because you're undocumented, you'll be going to this website right here, caldreamact.org. Okay. And I now want to stop sharing my presentation, and I'm just going to quickly share the web pages so everybody can be on the same page here. Okay, so from the same apply webpage where we have all the steps for new students, you're going to click on step 3, which is apply to financial aid. And then you're going to click on this link that says apply for financial aid. And this is going to take you to our page with both applications. So we have the FAFSA up here and we have the California DREAM Act down here. So depending on which one you're going to do, you're going to click on the appropriate link. So if you're completing the FAFSA, you'll click on FAFSA. And then it's going to take you to the FAFSA page. And if you've never completed the FAFSA before, you're going to click on Start Here. And just give it a few seconds to load. It's usually a little bit slow here. Okay, so once you're on this login page, you're going to click on I am the student. And instead of starting the FAFSA right away, you actually have to create a username and password. This username and password is going to allow you to log into your FAFSA. It's also the way you electronically sign your FAFSA at the very end of the application. So what you'll need to do is click on this link right here that says create one. And this is going to take you to another web page where you're going to create your FSA ID. And if you scroll down, you're just going to click on get started. And then you're going to enter some personal information. And then you'll be able to create your username and your password for your FAFSA. So this is going to be the first step if you're completing the FAFSA. It's going to be creating your FSA ID. Once you've created your FSA ID, then you go back to the FAFSA login and you're going to enter that username and password, and then you'll enter into your FAFSA and start that application. And again, we're going to be here throughout the whole time to help you with any of these parts if you come across any questions whatsoever. For the California Dream Act, for Dream Act students, you're going to click on the Dream Act application link from our page. And then for you, it's going to be a little bit more simple because you do not have to create an FSA ID. So you're just going to click on Start on the web page. It's going to ask you to continue, and it's going to ask you a few questions. So you're not going to have a social security number. So you're going to say no. You're going to click Continue. Now you also have to meet these requirements. You have to be a high school graduate in California, and you have to have been attending school in California in high school for at least 3 years. Okay, so if you've only been attending 2 years, even though you're graduating from high school in California, you won't meet this criteria right away. And if you have any questions about this specifically, I can always help you out with that. But this in general is going to be the criteria that you have to meet to be an AB 540 student. And if you meet this criteria, so you've graduated from high school in California and you've been attending a California high school for at least 3 years, you're going to click on that radio button that says yes, and then click Continue. And then you're just going to start the application. And it's just going to ask you for a whole bunch of your personal information. The one tip that I'm going to really stress, and this is regardless of whether you're completing the FAFSA or California Dream Act, write everything down, please. Please write everything down. You only complete these applications once a year. So it's very, very easy for you to forget this information. So as you're creating your security questions, your passwords, your user IDs, write everything down. If you're completing the Dream Act, at the very end, it's going to give you a Dream Act ID. Write that Dream Act ID down. If you're a dependent, so you're going to provide your parent information, you're going to have to create a parent PIN. Write the parent PIN down. Very, very important that you write all that information down so that you have an easy time renewing these applications every year. All right, and that pretty much does it for my part of the presentation. And I'm going to turn it over to Lee because I think we're going to start on the open part of the this workshop. Thank you.